Today is an Eagles Day. Yes, the schedule released last night. I find it amusing they could turn that into a television show, but they do. But more importantly, the Eagles schedule, and we do what we do here, like everybody else does. They go down the schedule, and they come up with what the Eagles' record will be. Just a few observations here. Number one, the Eagles face all 6 NFC playoff teams from last season, and the Rams will be the first up game coming up earlier in the season. Number 2, no back-to-back home games? What? But a couple of back-to-back road games, like at the Giants, at the Vikings, and then at the Commanders, at the Bills. Tough stretch. 2 through 5, Chiefs, Rams, or at Chiefs, Rams, at Bucks, Broncos, although a lot of people don't think that will be a tough game at home. You've got Week 17 at the Bills, is sandwiched between 2 games with the Washington Commanders. Interesting. Could there be 2 losses in there? Could there be 3 losses in there? Number 5, finally, a game against Bill Colarulo's favorite coach, the Dan Campbell-led Lions, on a Sunday night, although that is a home game. 5th straight game at Tampa Bay. What is it with these schedule makers and sending the Eagles down? What is it, for their fans? The fans lobby for this? They want to go to Tampa? That comes after a tough game against the Rams. And you got Week 10 at the Packers, a revenge game in Green Bay. You've got let's see, what else we got? We got the short week at the Giants, but the Giants are at New Orleans the week before, so that's no big deal. You've got the Vikings and J.J. McCarthy's 5th game of his career. It's when they play them, and you can come up with all these other little quirks in the Eagles schedule. The bottom line is we're going to go down each game and predict each game and see what we come in. Now, I haven't done this yet, so I don't know what number I'm coming out with. We do this live and in action. And on that note, let's introduce Bill Colarulo. We call him Mr. Football around here, who's got some observations as well with the general observations of the schedule. Bill, you're on.
Yeah, good morning, Michael. Good morning, Ray. Happy schedule release day after, I guess, since it happened last night. But, look, we knew who the opponents were going to be. We just didn't know how it was going to line up. And even before knowing when they were going to play these teams, it's not an easy schedule. You got 11 playoff teams on the schedule. You look at strength of schedule, whether you look at last year win totals, the Eagles have the 4th toughest based off of last year win totals. If you look at the Vegas projections for win totals this year, the Eagles have the 4th toughest schedule in the National Football League. It's not an easy schedule just with the opponents themselves. But the way it sets up, you're right, man, it's not easy. No back-to-back home games since first time since 2008. And I just look at some of these matchups in here. You mentioned the Week 2 through Week 5, 4 straight playoff teams. Not going to be easy. The 5 games to end the season, 4 out of those 5 are against playoff teams. But here's what I really hate. Week 10, you go to Green Bay for a Monday night football game. And then you have a short week coming back to play the Detroit Lions. So even though that game's at home, that is a short week. I hate that you play Detroit on a short week, where if you look at what Detroit has the week before, they're at Washington on a Sunday. So not that big of a deal for them, not a lot of travel for them. So we're going to do the W's and L's, but when I look at this, I think my first blush would say they're not winning what they won last year. To expect them to go 14-3 with this schedule, I think we'd be a little naive.
I think you're right about that. So let's move over to Mr. Ray Dunn for his personal observations, off-the-cuff observations. Ray, what are you seeing here?
Mine are very personal. 6 1 o'clock Sunday games, I love it. I'm all in on this.
Yeah.
I know we were talking so much about the different primetime things they could get. The fact they got 6 1 o'clock starts on a Sunday is beautiful for me. I enjoy the hell out of that. I will say that I think Bill's already setting up his defense of that loss to the Lions with that short week conversation. I can already feel the Dan Campbell week that we will have on this show with the Lions conversation. Oh, it's a short week. You can't expect Sirianni to beat that team. It's a short week. But
short week, man.
I do think it's odd. The non-back-to-back home games, and I think I read this in the Inquirer, that's the first time since 2008 that's happened. It's not something that I think is going to derail a season, but it is odd that you don't end up with a situation like that, which means you're just constantly picking up and moving to another spot. I can't say I've ever been a professional athlete. I don't know how that impacts you totally, but I can't imagine you like it too much. I will say the two back-to-back road situations that you run into, Week 6 and Week 7 with the Giants and the Vikings, that's a Thursday night game into a Sunday game the next week, so I don't really feel like that's going to be a huge deal. Plus, you're only going up to New York for that Thursday night game. And then Week 16 is a Saturday against the Commanders. You're not going too far for that game. You're not going too far for Buffalo. So I don't think you really get crushed by any real road trip woes. It's just weird you don't have any home games back-to-back. I don't like that end of the stretch of the season that everyone's talked about at this point with the two Commanders games and the Bills. You're going to have to take care of business earlier in the season, really, because I don't want that 3-game stretch to mean something come Week 16, 17, 18.
They do have some primetime games, obviously. They have the first one that comes on Thursday Night Football, and there's a Monday Night Football, and there's a Sunday Night Football, then there's another Monday Night Football, and then there's that Saturday game on December 20th. So the Eagles are featured a lot during this regular season, but it is a tougher schedule, and I think you have to allow for a little bit of attrition from the year before, the excitement of the Super Bowl year. Can they play at that same level? I'm going to tell you right now that I think that I don't know how this is going to come out, so maybe I'm talking out of my rear end here. I believe that the Eagles at the end of the season could have the same number of wins as the Washington Commanders, and it would go down to a tiebreak.
Yeah, the Commanders are the team to worry about in the NFC East, and I agree with you. They have a little bit of an easier schedule because they're not playing the first-place schedule like the Eagles are based off of opponents. They have 8 games against playoff teams. Eagles have 11. And you could be right. That Week 18 matchup, I know I heard John Kincade on the morning show saying, that game's not going to matter. That could be a big game for deciding who wins the NFC East. Because if you're right, Mike, where they have the same amount of wins, it may come down to, well, what'd you do head-to-head?
Yeah,
and that could be a big game.
I think they're going to split with Washington anyway, so that's why it's going to go deep down on the tiebreaker list.
Yeah, now you're looking at division record, conference record, all that.
I believe that will come into play this year. And again, I haven't done the schedule because it'll be interesting when we do this, and we're going to do it after the break, how many wins we all come up with here and how many wins the fans come up with. And we'd love to hear from the fans either by text or by telephone call at 610-632-0975, because you're doing the same thing that we're doing. You're looking at the quirks of the schedule. You're looking at it game by game. A lot of people don't figure in who they played the week before, so you do have to figure that out. That takes a little more research. But off the cuff, the original reaction is, to me, interesting.
And Billy Notebooks over here with my notes. So I dove deep, and we'll get into it. Every single game, I looked at last season's record. I looked at their win total projections from Vegas. I looked at the offensive ranks, the defensive ranks based off of last season, the biggest additions that they made, the biggest losses that they made, who they play the week before the Eagles. So we're diving deep into the schedule.
Here's what we'll do then. Ray and I will go off the cuff with our wins, losses, and our small rationales, and then we'll throw it to you to go a deep dive into your rationale for the games that you come up with.
Yes, and as much as I've done the analysis, I have not yet projected win or loss. So we'll be doing this live together.
Okay, sounds good. Ray, anything else to add?
No, I'm excited for this. This is my favorite exercise. I enjoy this, especially the fact that I could just go off the cuff. I'm more of a vibe kind of guy for this. It's May. I don't really have any really good insight.
You're the Garrett Stubbs. You're the Garrett Stubbs of the show.
I would prefer not. Am I getting sent to Lehigh Valley? Is that what you're saying? Should I pack my bags?
Yeah. Did Kincade do his predictions? I thought he was anti-prediction.
He is, and then Andrew tries to pull it out of him based off of conversation.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, he's not a big fan of W's and L's.
12 and 5, John had. Andrew just popped into the studio.
Yeah, but John doesn't do W's and L's, but yet he'll predict now that Week 18 is not going to matter. I don't understand. How do you make that prediction without predicting the W's and L's?
All right, we'll figure it out. We should mention the Phillies split yesterday, and the second game hurt.
Oh,
it hurt because I don't know how it's possible to be as good a pitcher as Aaron Nola and give up 12 hits and 9 runs in that amount of time.
In 3 2/3.
It's that's incredible to me, and that's alarming, and we'll talk about that as well. Here's how you get into the show. It's 610-632-0975. 610-632-0975 by text or by phone. On the other side, a deep dive into the Eagles season and what we come up with. Mike Missanelli show's on 97.5 The Fanatic.
Hey everybody, it's Bill Colarulo. Thanks for watching. We appreciate it. Make sure you like and subscribe to our channel so you can engage during the show and you're not going to want to miss all the content that we post. It's not only the live videos, it's videos after the fact. It's our shorts. It's all the content you want as a Philadelphia sports fan. Looking forward to connecting.